Hey, what about the other mechanisms of evolution? It is me, Moser, again. And after this video, you should be able to identify artificial selection, sexual selection, and genetic drift as some of the other mechanisms by which evolution happens. You should also be able to describe the thing that creates selective pressure in each one of those. It'd be great if you could recall that genetic drift has a bigger effect on smaller populations, and what genetic drift is, and describe the results of founder effect on genetic diversity. You should already know what gene and allele frequency are, and you should understand what natural selection is and the basics of how it works. So let's get started. We know that natural selection can cause shifts in the distribution of a trait or multiple traits in a population, or change the frequency of alleles in a population. But is natural selection the only thing that can cause a species to evolve? No! What about the eternal question of what does want? Surely everyone knows this. Big racks! Sexual selection is a pattern of evolution where potential mates are exerting selective pressure on the species by choosing traits that they find attractive for some reason. Female whitetails might like a buck with a big rack because he can fight off other bucks, and he's likely to help her pass down those genes to her offspring, making them more likely to be successful. Peahens are more likely to mate with peacocks with big, showy tails, so more of those big, showy tail genes become common in the species. But does what's sexy always have a survival advantage? Nope. That big rack is really useful in fighting off competitors for the affection of does, but it takes a lot of energy, that's calories, folks, to grow, and it can make running through dense woods more challenging. Same goes for that beautiful, colorful tail. While it may make Mr. Peacock more visible and attractive to the ladies, it also makes him more visible to predators, and it makes it harder for him to run fast or fly fast. Crunch. So, in the case of natural selection, the environment, predators, available calories, risk factors, that's the thing that's exerting evolutionary pressure. In the case of sexual selection, the desires of the potential mates, logical or not, are the things exerting evolutionary pressure. But could we, humans, exert selective pressure? Sure. We've been doing it for 10,000 years. Artificial selection is when humans choose traits in domestic plants or animals and only allow the individuals with the traits desired by the humans to breed. It's how you get 4,000 varieties of potatoes out of a single ancestor species. How you get flour corn, field corn, popcorn, and sweet corn out of a single ancestor species. It's what dairy farmers do when they choose the best milk producer to be bred for the next generation of their herd. Or what dog breeders do when they select the best puppies out of the litter to breed. When we discuss a plant variety that's been created through selective breeding by humans, we call it a cultivar, short for cultivated variety. Think of Golden Delicious apples, or all the varieties in a seed catalog. Yum. Breeds of dogs, chickens, goats, and other livestock are like cultivated varieties of livestock. Breeds and cultivars are not separate species and can be easily crossbred. That's what a mutt is. In some cases, the traits selected for in this way don't have a real survival advantage, but they stay in the species because humans find them useful or attractive. Good luck to the morky poo surviving in the wild for more than a few hours with no human to protect it. Crunch. What if nothing is exerting selective pressure? What if there's no real survival advantage to any version of a trait? Potential mates don't think any version of the trait is particularly sexier than another. And humans aren't selecting for any version of a trait. Huh. Well, then it's all up to random chance. Just roll the dice. It's called genetic drift. And just like you drifting in a boat on a lake with no paddle, where it would be pure luck if you drifted to shore or not, when a trait is changing due to random chance, it's pure luck of the draw which traits and alleles are passed on and in what proportions. Now, in large populations, this doesn't usually really change distributions or allele frequencies. This is us running a whole bunch of simulations over a number of generations and finding that overall, allele frequencies don't change that much. But in a small population, this can change, genetic drift can change things in a hurry. Imagine an island with a population of only 10 individuals of a species where an allele is evenly distributed. 3 individuals have big B genotypes, 4 have big B genotypes, and 3 have little b. Well, that gives us a 50-50 allele frequency. Cool. If suddenly all 3 big B individuals are struck by lightning or drowned by a freak wave or some other kind of random disaster, we suddenly go from a 50% frequency of the big B allele to a 29% frequency, just due to random chance. In a very small population, it's much more likely that an allele will either become fixed, meaning everyone has it, or lost, disappear and no one has it, just due to random events. So, in natural selection, the environment causes selective pressure. In sexual selection, it's what mates want. In artificial selection, it's humans. And genetic drift, it's an absolute luck of the draw, random chance. But what if there's underlying issue with the genetic diversity of your population? Good question. Founder effect is what we call it when a population is started or founded by a small group of individuals with certain characteristics. We see this a lot on islands that have been colonized by small groups of individuals, or anytime a brand new population is founded. Starting a population with a small group means limited genetic diversity. It also means that the only traits likely to be found in the population are those that were present in the founders. We can imagine a brand new volcanic island to which a few lucky spiders float and make a landing. The entire spider population of that island is now all descended from those very few founders. Any traits that weren't present in the few founding members are just missing in the population. Unless there's a mutation and those traits show up spontaneously, the population is limited to the diversity of traits that was present in its founding members. Okay, can you identify and describe artificial selection, sexual selection, and genetic drift as other mechanisms of evolution? Can you name the thing that creates the selective pressure in each of those? Can you recall that genetic drift has a bigger effect on smaller populations? And can you describe the results of founder effect on genetic diversity? Good. Then I think you're good.